There are many words in English like this which can have several pronunciations, two pronunciations. Another one is secretary, secretary, secretary. 4 syllables, like this, stressed on the first, secretary. So, secretary. And then I can say to my students, secretary. This usually is pronounced in 3 syllables. Which one do you think would fall? And so they think about the word for a moment, and very often somebody suggests that the word would become secretary, which it does. And so we can show this. Secretary. Secretary. This is a very common thing in English. Let's move on to some phrases. If I want to show he went to Canada, then I'm going to point to Canada this way. And then the name of the country, Canada. He went to Canada. If, on the other hand, I want the students to say he went to Italy, I want to draw their attention. He went to Italy. So, because of these two coming together, the word to is going to change its pronunciation. He went to Italy. So, that would give us to, and then Italy, to Italy. And so we can work on these kinds of changes. I haven't yet shown you this one down here. This one here is schwa, and this is a grey dot. It's a grey dot, and the grey refers in fact to the background. So we will establish a convention whereby if I point to the background, I'm pointing to this, and this is Catford's open transition. So let's take an example. And point this, T, no problem. I'm going to point this one, 2, no problem. Between the two, T, and now I'm going to point it this way. And that way I don't even have to go down to here, I can just slide across, and that gives us T for 2. T for 2. And I can do it the other way around, of course. 2 for T. 2 for T. T for 2 and 2 for T. And this then is going to be used for the open transitions. And these, of course, there are many, many, many of these in English. One that my students love is, there are a lot. How many people are there in this room? There are a lot. And if I point that, I have to point like this. The, lot. And then I would show them on the board how the word resyllabifies, so that the RE at the end of there becomes the beginning of the next syllable. The RE at the end of ARE goes on to the next syllable, and that gives us what I've just shown you, the lot. And you can see how the chart makes such a difference for pointing something like this and getting students to understand what they're supposed to be saying. Let's come back to stuttering. I haven't shown you how I point stuttering. So let's take our example, 1/4 to 2. I'm going to start with 2, and I'm going to ask my students to stutter it. And I can point it like this. 2. 2. And then I can add core and get them to say, and then I can add this in front of it, 1/4 to 2, and there we have it, 1/4 to 2. This dashed rectangle is very useful for showing things like the difference between verbs and nouns where you're using the same word. For example, record and record, or project and project. For project, there's no problem. Project. But if you turn it the other way around and put the stress on the first, then you get project. And the students can see how it works. And if I repoint that one, and I don't have to indicate up here, I can just do it this way because they know what vowel they have to put in here. I hope this has made it clear to you how you can use a chart like this, how you could exploit it in such a way that the stress and the reduction used so commonly in English becomes visible to the students. Thank you for watching.